There is a tiredness that sleep doesn't cure, a fatigue that no rest erases, no vacation eliminates, no distraction relieves. Have you ever felt as if life were slowly draining your inner light, as if each day stole a little more of the vitality you barely remember possessing? This depletion is not just physical. It's the soul screaming in silence, asking for return to the divine center you abandoned so long ago you forgot even the way back. Paramahansa Yogananda revealed, exhaustion comes when man separates himself from the source of infinite strength. It's not work that tires, it's the forgetting of God. It's not responsibilities that exhaust, it's the disconnection from the inner presence that always sustained you silently. When you live as if you were just a limited body operating by your own force, when you forget you are a channel through which infinite energy can flow, you inevitably exhaust yourself. And here's the secret no one tells you. Emotional exhaustion is not a problem to be solved with more physical rest, but an urgent call from the soul asking for reconnection with the source that never tires because it completely transcends time and effort. It's not the body that truly tires, it's the spirit that gets lost in 1,000 directions contrary to its essential nature. You wake exhausted not because you slept too little, but because you spent the entire night, even while sleeping, resisting life, trying to control the uncontrollable, carrying weights that were never yours. Emotional exhaustion is born from this constant struggle with what is, from this perpetual resistance to the natural flow of existence. Imagine a river trying to run backward against its own current. All its energy exhausts itself in this impossibility. So it is with the soul when it tries to control the inevitable, when it clings to what must be released, when it forces results instead of trusting the process. You're not tired from doing too much. You're tired from constantly resisting, from trying to be who you're not, from carrying responsibilities the universe never asked you to assume alone. There was a man who worked tirelessly, slept well, but always woke exhausted. Doctors found no physical cause, until he met a master who asked, "How many hours per day do you spend trying to control what's beyond your control?" The man realized almost all his mental time was spent worrying about possible futures, ruminating on unalterable pasts, trying to manipulate circumstances and people. When he finally learned to let go, to trust, to allow, the tiredness simply disappeared. The first step is recognizing tiredness as messenger, not as enemy. Ask yourself now, what in me is trying to hold up the world? What illusion of control keeps me in constant struggle? Where am I spending vital energy in useless resistance? Affirm, I release everything that's not mine to carry. I trust in the flow of life. My soul rests in divine wisdom that governs the entire universe. Karma acts silently when you repeat patterns that drain your vital energy. Each time you say yes when your soul screams no, you create energetic debt. Each time you mold yourself to others, expectations betraying your inner truth, you divert energy from your center to the periphery. Each repressed emotion, each unspoken truth, each ignored need, all this consumes force that should be nourishing your essence. Exhaustion arises devastatingly when you try to be everything to everyone, completely forgetting the I am. You fragment into 1,000 different versions, one for work, another for family, another for friends, and none of them is truly you. This constant fragmentation exhausts more than any physical work because you're literally living multiple lives simultaneously, none of them authentic. When you disconnect from deep purpose, life becomes an impossible burden to carry. But who carries this burden? It's not the soul. It's light as breeze, free as open sky. It's the ego that assumes imaginary responsibilities, that judges itself indispensable, that believes everything will collapse if you stop for a moment. The ego exhausts itself because it operates under illusion of separation, believing it needs to do everything alone. The soul never tires because it knows it's always sustained, always connected, always supported by infinite intelligence. There was a woman who prided herself on being strong, never asking for help, never showing weakness, always available for everyone, until the day her body simply stopped, forcing total rest. In the silence of this forced pause, she finally heard the soul's voice. You don't need to prove anything. You are already enough. Release the savior role you assumed without permission. When she finally allowed vulnerability, allowed help, allowed herself to be human, vital energy returned like river after broken dam. Practice saying no with love. Each no spoken in alignment with your truth is yes spoken to your soul. Examine each commitment, each responsibility. Is this mine to carry, or did I assume it out of fear, guilt, or need for approval? Affirm, I release every obligation that doesn't resonate with my truth. I allow others to carry their own weights. My energy is sacred, and I preserve it with wisdom. What you call emotional exhaustion is frequently excess of unresolved thoughts circulating indefinitely in the mind. Thousands of mental loops consuming energy, worries about futures that never come, ruminations about pasts that cannot be changed, judgments about yourself and others, obsessive planning of every detail. The anxious mind creates elaborate labyrinths where you get lost for hours without realizing. The heart, silent, only observes. It knows, simply knows, what is true, what matters, what to do. But you rarely listen to it because the mind screams so loud with its infinite concerns. When you're emotionally exhausted, ask, how many battles am I fighting simultaneously inside my own head? How many imaginary conversations am I having? How many future scenarios am I rehearsing that will never happen? There was a monk who confessed to the master, I'm exhausted from meditation. I sit for hours, but the mind doesn't stop. The master smiled. You're not exhausted from meditation. You're exhausted from fighting your thoughts. Stop warring. Observe them like clouds passing. No cloud can stain the sky. The monk understood. The problem wasn't having thoughts, but spending energy trying to control them, judge them, eliminate them. When he finally just observed without engaging, peace came, and with it, renewed energy. Healing begins when you accept feeling without resistance. When difficult emotion arises, sadness, anger, fear, you habitually try to push it away, distract from it, deny it. This resistance consumes more energy than the emotion itself. But when you finally say, yes, I accept this sadness completely, the energy that was trapped in resistance releases. The emotion flows through you like wave through ocean and passes naturally, leaving quietude in its wake. Practice observation without judgment. Sit in silence and simply note. There's a thought of worry. There's a sensation of tension in the chest. There's a sound from the fan. Don't try to change anything, just observe. This simple practice of witnessing without engaging saves tremendous energy you were spending fighting with your own experience. Affirm, I observe my thoughts without getting lost in them. I feel my emotions without identifying with them. I am the conscious space where everything arises and passes, and this space never tires. Buddhism teaches with liquid clarity. Attachment is the root of suffering. When you cling to what must flow, people, situations, identities, you create constant friction with the impermanent nature of reality. This friction exhausts. The chronic tiredness of trying to hold water in your hands, of trying to make the transitory permanent, of fighting against the only certainty of existence. Everything changes. Hinduism reminds forgotten truth. The true self never tires, for it is eternal. You are not this body that ages, this mind that agitates, this personality that changes. You are pure consciousness, silent witness of all this. And consciousness doesn't exhaust itself because it doesn't do anything, it just is. When you rest in this deep identity, when you stop identifying exclusively with the doer, impossible exhaustion continues. The Christ within repeats through the centuries. Come to me, you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. This is not instruction to seek external savior, but invitation to turn inward to the kingdom of God that always dwelt in your own heart. When you remember to rest in the inner presence instead of operating by your own force, the yoke becomes light, the burden becomes gentle. Not because responsibilities diminished, but because you stopped carrying them alone. All traditions point to the same path: turn inward and rest in God. But what if this God who seems so distant were actually the most intimate foundation of your own being? What if you were never really separated from this source, say, only distracted from it by focusing exclusively on the external world? What few realize is that true rest doesn't come from doing less, but from being more present, more connected, more rooted in the silent center that never moves despite all storms. Sit now in silence. Wherever you are, gently close your eyes and allow the external world to dissolve for some precious moments. You don't need to go anywhere, reach any special state. Just be here now, completely present with what is. This is the first step. Stop. Simply stop running, doing, trying. Just be. Inhale deeply and consciously, feeling not just air, but universal vital force entering you. Say mentally with each inhalation, I receive divine force. This is not empty visualization, it's recognition of truth. You are constantly being nourished by inexhaustible source if you just open yourself to receive. Exhale slowly and declare, I release the weight that's not mine. Feel literally releasing worries that cannot be resolved now, responsibilities you assumed improperly, judgments about yourself that were never true. Visualize golden light descending through the top of your head, not as fantasy, but as real energy you are consciously directing. See this light descending through tense neck, loaded shoulders, heavy heart, until it reaches the center of your chest. There, it establishes itself like radiant sun, pulsing with renewed vitality. This is not light you create, but light that was always present. You're just removing the clouds of forgetting that obscured it. Remain in this state of soul replenishment for at least 10 minutes. Don't force anything. Don't seek dramatic experiences. Just rest here, breathing consciously, allowing connection with Source to reestablish naturally. Practice this upon waking before facing the day, before sleeping to cleanse accumulated energies, whenever you feel exhaustion approaching. Affirm, I am open channel for infinite energy. I rest in the source that never exhausts. Each breath reconnects me with divine vitality. Here's the secret that completely transforms your relationship with tiredness. Exhaustion is not punishment or personal failure. It's sacred invitation to awakening. When the soul is deeply exhausted, when you reach the absolute limit of your forces, it's precisely because external life no longer offers true nourishment. You're being forced to stop, to question, to search more deeply. Pain comes not to destroy, but to break the hardened shell of ego and reveal the infinite being that always dwelt within you. What seems like devastating weakness is, in truth, the precise moment when God can finally act. While you feel strong and self-sufficient, while you believe you're in control, you unconsciously block grace. But when you finally admit, I cannot do this alone, when you surrender completely, when you release control, space opens for something infinitely greater to operate through you. Exhaustion is the forced surrender the ego would never make voluntarily. There was a spiritual leader who worked tirelessly for years, serving thousands of people, until her body collapsed in total exhaustion. At first, she severely judged herself for this weakness, but in the silence of forced recovery, she heard clearly, you were doing my work with your limited strength. Now, learn to be a channel through which my unlimited strength flows. When she finally returned to service, she did the same work with 1/10 of the effort, because she had learned to allow Source to operate through her instead of trying to operate on her own. The invitation now is, will you continue fighting until you collapse again, or will you learn the lesson exhaustion offers? The lesson is always the same. You were not made to operate by your own force. You are channel, not source. When you remember this, when you live from this, when you act from this, energy flows through you inexhaustibly because you stop blocking it with illusion of self-sufficiency. Affirm, I am not the source, I am the channel. I don't work by my own force, but allow divine force to operate through me. My exhaustion is portal to grace that was always awaiting my surrender. Say no with love whenever necessary. It's not selfishness. It's sacred preservation of energy you need to fulfill your true purpose. Each yes spoken out of guilt, fear, or need for approval is betrayal of your soul. Each no spoken in alignment with your truth is honor to your essence. Practice the simple but powerful phrase, "This doesn't resonate with me at this moment." You don't need to justify, explain, defend. Your energy is your responsibility. Take sacred pauses throughout the day, not pauses to check phone or consume entertainment, but pauses to return to center. 3 minutes of conscious breathing between meetings, 5 minutes of silence before beginning important tasks, 10 minutes of walking in nature without headphones, just present. Observe the sunset not as passive spectator, but as participant in the beauty of creation. Pray not with elaborate words, but with simple gratitude for being alive in this moment. Find silence, especially before sleeping. It heals more deeply than 1,000 words of therapy. Turn off all devices 30 minutes before lying down. Sit in quietude and review the day, not with judgment, but with compassionate witness. I did the best I could with the consciousness I had. I release this day completely. I surrender to restorative sleep, knowing tomorrow will bring a new beginning. This simple ritual releases energy trapped in regrets about the day and worries about tomorrow. Work, love, and serve fully, but remain anchored in divine presence through everything. This doesn't mean thinking of God constantly, but operating from a center of inner quietude that doesn't agitate with each external circumstance. Develop the habit of pausing regularly and asking, am I present now or lost in thoughts? Am I connected to center or operating by my own force? Am I flowing with life or resisting? These brief check-ins throughout the day prevent accumulation of tension that eventually becomes exhaustion. Affirm, I live from the silent center. I act without getting lost in action. I serve without draining myself because I'm constantly reconnecting with Source. When you truly learn to rest in God, not occasionally but as constant state of consciousness, the entire world rests in you. People feel peace in your presence without understanding why. Chaotic situations calm when you enter, not because you do something special, but because you stopped adding unnecessary agitation. You became space of quietude where others can finally breathe. The recharged soul radiates peace even in the midst of most intense chaos. Not peace of one ignoring problems, but peace of one recognizing deeper dimension beyond all appearances. You still act when action is necessary, but act from center of quietude instead of center of anxiety. You still feel emotions, but they flow through you without leaving residues. You still face challenges, but no longer carry emotional weight from them when the moment has passed. Exhaustion progressively disappears when you remember who you really are, divine energy inhabiting human form temporarily, not body that eventually exhausts, but consciousness that never diminishes. This remembrance is not intellectual concept, but visceral experience that transforms everything. When you live from this truth instead of just knowing it, chronic tiredness simply finds no place to establish itself because you stopped identifying with the temporary instrument and recognized yourself as the timeless force that animates it. Thus, what seemed curse transforms into wisdom. The tiredness that wouldn't pass with physical rest finally passes when you rest spiritually. The pain that seemed to have no purpose reveals itself as return song, persistent call from soul for you to finally come home, to center, to eternal rest that was always available within you. But what if all suffering, including this exhaustion that seems to completely deplete you, were just love in disguise, forcing you to finally stop running and rest in the presence that always sustained you silently? It's not work that tires, it's the forgetting of God. When the heart rests in the infinite, when you constantly remember your connection with inexhaustible source, each breath becomes silent prayer. Each action becomes sacred offering. Each moment becomes living meditation. True rest is not absence of activity, but remembering to be soul instead of just body. It's operating as conscious channel instead of limited source. It's trusting divine process instead of trying to control every detail through your own force that inevitably exhausts. If this message touched the deep exhaustion you carry in silence, honor this moment of recognition by leaving your like as affirmation that you're ready to finally truly rest, not just physically but spiritually. Subscribe to continue receiving guidance that can transform your relationship with energy, tiredness, and the very meaning of true strength. Share with someone who is exhausted and needs to hear there's another way, besides just trying more, doing more, being more. And leave in comments your declaration of liberation, I am light. 3 simple words that affirm your essential nature beyond all temporary fatigue. May the blessing of divine presence envelop you in this moment, bringing rest that transcends physical sleep. May you remember in the next moments of exhaustion that this tiredness is not your failure, but sacred invitation to reconnect with Source that never exhausts. May you learn to release illusory controls, liberate weights that were never yours, and trust you are constantly sustained by something infinitely greater than your limited force. You are conscious light dwelling temporarily in form. You are divine energy in active rest. You are a channel through which unlimited force can flow when you finally stop blocking it with illusion of separation. Breathe, release, rest. The source was always here, patiently waiting for you to stop running and finally come home.